in a range of scientific institutions around the world. I sometimes think that astronomers are among the most connected scientists in the world today because they share with each other so much, and it's an important connection. Of course, they're assisting us also in expanding the frontiers in engineering because we need new measuring instruments. We would be unable to find answers to these questions unless we develop new instruments. We can make ground-based telescopes, but we want to host complex instruments here and develop them here on the African continent so that we start to provide some of the answers to these deep probing issues. But we're not here to answer those questions today, nor to ask them. We are here to celebrate the launch of a development office that will spread astronomy throughout the length and breadth of Africa and the global community. What I'd like to see is, just as we have astronomers from all over the world gathered here, is that we'll have young people from all over the world coming together. Because I am a firm believer in drawing peoples together. I think that's how you build a better world. And if you can do it through science, I think let's really make the attempt at it. I believe South Africa is the best place for the office to be. We don't have, as yet, hundreds of astronomers. Unfortunately, we have very few in our country. We have at the top end around 60 working here in South Africa, around 25 based at the observatory. And they are just half of Africa's just over 120 astronomers. There's a lot of human capital work for us to do, and the DP and ourselves are contributing to that. But we've got to expand this massively. So again, DG, to expand it, I offered some bursaries to Mozambique. But I think more exciting than the numbers, we have something that we often lack in many other systems. What we have in South Africa is political will. I am fully behind the astronomy enterprise. We are committed as South Africa to enhancing South-South relations in this field. As our presence at the BRICS meeting in China this week has shown. I was intrigued, in fact, to listen to an interview between a meeting rather, listening in to a bilateral, an interview listening into a bilateral between President Medvedev and President Zuma. President Medvedev outlined a number of items he wished to have discussed as the agenda of the meeting, including Libya, United Nations reform, etc., etc. And then they asked President Zuma through the interpreter, Mr. Zuma, what would you like to place on the agenda? And you know what our president replied? SKA. And I thought, the cabinet memoranda, no one can judge us as not being accurate in saying there is the political will. We have invested in astronomy. We have invested in complex measuring instruments. We have SALT, located in South Africa. We are working on our program for the Meerkat, the Karoo Array Telescope, and working very hard on our bid for Africa to host the Square Kilometre Array. We've chosen to invest heavily in science and astronomy because of its role in development, not only within South Africa, but across all of Africa. We believe big astronomy projects such as SALT, Meerkat, and SKA entail major capacity development programs in order to train the next generation of engineers and astronomers from all over Africa. When colleagues ask me, why are you interested in this? So I say, well, I've looked at all the scientists. They're all a little older than me. I want to make the science young. And I believe we can, because we must have it in perpetuity. It can't be a science that dies. It can't be a science that's youthful. So that's why we're investing. We've not stopped at investments, though. We've also put in place forward-looking legislation in the form of the Astronomy Geographic Advantage Act for the long-term protection of the excellent astronomical science in South Africa. And Ms. Shin, you don't have to worry, the cabinet memoranda do remind colleagues of this one too. In South Africa, people in the astronomy field, from those working on the ground to the highest levels of government, share the vision that we have, that astronomy will play a significant role in the development of society. I'm pleased to be able to confirm to our distinguished audience today that over the years, we've been really fortunate in that the South African Astronomical Observatory has built a reputation for producing global, cost-effective research and astronomical instrumentation, and thus has become a world player in that regard. It also has a significant number of the SA Astronomy PhD contingent on its staff, including postdoctoral researchers and salt astronomy operations personnel. So a wide range of fields covered within it. It's part of an extensive network of international collaborations and uses its position in the global community to enhance the training of PhDs in astrophysics and space science on the African continent, not just in South Africa. With the commissioning of SALT that we've been told about this morning, I have no doubt that the observatory will continue to pursue exciting new areas of research that are only made possible by a 10-meter class telescope. Talking of size of telescope, I must mention, DG, the minister in Mozambique is most worried about the size of dish we intend to build, and wants a bigger than. So I reminded him that my funding merely lays the foundation. As to the size of the dish, we must discuss the envelope, right? And so we will have to discuss that, but they want a bigger facility. But what we have in SALT and what we will have in the Astronomy Office for Development is a further testimony to Southern Africa's competitive advantages as an absolutely good venue for capital-intensive big science initiatives. And I end with that. Thank you very much.
Very much for those wonderful words. Your enthusiastic and infectious support for astronomy is greatly appreciated, and it's fantastic to hear of your influence on your cabinet colleagues and your education. I would now simply like to ask the president of the NRF, Dr. Al-Banyasa, to make some closing remarks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Charles, for this opportunity. First of all, the first thing I was always told about closing proceedings is that you have to be brief, so I will do that. But I do have to thank a few people. First of all, Mr. Pandor, thank you so much for your enlightening comments and remarks, and certainly your origins perspective, which is very, very interesting. As always, a wonderful, entertaining speech, and thank you so much for taking out some of your valuable time and sharing that time with us. I also have to thank the IAU colleagues that have travelled, Professor Williams and colleagues that have shared today with us. I need to thank you also for the support you've given to this particular initiative. We on the African continent are delighted to be sharing in this initiative, and we look forward to a long period of successful collaboration moving forward. There are a number of other distinguished colleagues from the academic community, from the DST. Thank you for sharing a bit of time with us. Ms. Shin from Parliament, thank you for coming in on Saturday morning to talk to us. But I do also want to offer my congratulations towards the end to the SAO, Professor Charles, and in particular Kevin Gardner, for the work that he is about to embark on. And to say to him, Kevin, you have our full support, we're 100% behind you, and we look forward to working with you and together with the SAO colleagues to make sure, and more importantly, together with our African colleagues, to make sure that this initiative really truly delivers on the very ambitious and very worthy objectives you set yourself. So we look forward to working with you, and from my side, thank you so much for taking out a bit of time this morning and participating in this wonderful, exciting event at this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Albert. And before we go on to the formal opening, through revealing the plaque for the OAP, at this point we have a number of representatives from the media here, and so we were going to open the floor to receive questions to be answered hopefully by the speakers that you heard this morning. So can I call for any questions or input from our media representatives here? They're recording everything. They've got everything they need. Well, there will be opportunities for interviews with our special guests today when we have the refreshments afterwards. So. That actually makes things a lot easier. It gets us back almost on schedule too. I would now like to call upon the Minister to formally open the office by revealing the plaque. We're going to have a photo opportunity here. So where's sorry, Kevin, you should do it. Well, you do it. Well, thank you very much, everyone. There are now refreshments outside and lots of opportunities for you to and there will be opportunities. Kevin will take those who are interested over to the office itself after the refreshments. Okay.